Okay, now for a quick Devar Torah. And as I mentioned that we're grateful for all the great things that Ari does. One of the hardest things for us to be is grateful, especially when we're successful. We have to remember that this week's Parsha, like the rest of the book of Deuteronomy, is Moshe speaking to the Jewish people, preparing us to enter the land of Israel, to conquer it. Up until now, we've had open miracles performed for us. Manna from heaven, God protecting us from our enemies. Our clothes did not wear out. The manna, by the way, was such that you did not have to relieve yourself. Because we looked at the encampment was so big that if somebody wanted to relieve themselves, they had to leave the encampment. It would be walking about 2 or 3 miles in some cases. So this was a bracha. In other words, there's a lot of open miracles that are going on. Suddenly, Moshe is preparing us to enter the land of Israel. Now, we will have miracles, but they won't be so open. And a lot will be dependent on how we behave, one towards the other. It's not just that that we sit around and we keep all of our ritual religious opinion, that we have the sacrifices done perfectly. That's not enough. That's important, but it's not enough. God also wants to know how we behave one towards the other. Am I doing the right thing? Am I taking care of the poor, the sick, the orphan, the elderly? This is all in the Torah. And business. Do I behave in business correctly? And also, am I grateful for the little things? This week's Parsha contains the source of Birkat HaMazon, the blessings after we eat. We just don't bless the food before we eat it. We're hungry. Hey, God, I want to eat. Thank you for the grub. Rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub. But it's after you're full and satiated. Do you remember to thank God then? And that's an important issue. A lot of us, we take for granted these things once we're full. One of the biggest problems is this whole concept of entitlement. I am entitled to something, and you're not grateful for it. But the Torah is telling you, you have to be grateful after you receive the good stuff, after you've had your belly full, after you made your money. Be grateful to God that you have the ability to make that money. Be grateful to God that you have a family, etc. So this is what Moshe is trying to convey in this week's Parsha by bringing forth the blessings of the grace after meal. That it's not enough to pray to God before. The Christians ask God to give us this day our daily bread. But then they don't have an after blessing. We have an after blessing. And the after blessing is very entailed and detailed. And the biggest after blessing we have is not on the really good stuff, the meat, etc., or even the 7 species that Israel's blessed with. The really complex blessing is after we have bread, the basics. Get down to the basics. Be grateful that you have the basic substance of life. Something to think about.